Hello. It's been a minute. This video is really off the cuff and not rehearsed at all, but I've been doing some game jams, and I'm about to start the 32-bit spring cleaning jam. And as a part of this jam, the theme is Fix Your Game. I did a jam for the previous 32-bit jam recently. It was a 2-week jam, and the theme was 24 hours. And for that jam, I made a game called WRETCH, and I'll be continuing it for this jam. But as a prerequisite to the jam, they want you to either submit an old build or a video showing off the version at the start of the jam so that they can judge your game based on the progress that you've made. So this whole video is just going to be talking about what I made for the previous jam, what is in it, and then I will show off what I've done between the two jams so that we can see where I'm starting for this spring cleaning game jam. So the game that I made is called WRETCH. It exists on itch. I'm going to log in real quick and show the page. There it is. Aha! This is the download page. The link will be in the description of this video. It's essentially Phasmophobia if it was made for PlayStation 1. And it started as an attempt to learn Unity's multiplayer stuff. They've got their new multiplayer services for peer-to-peer and for lobby. And it started with me trying to learn that. I'd spent a month before the jam trying to learn it. And then after I had it figured out, I was like, why not make a game that is co-op for a game jam? So without further ado, we're going to launch this game and take a look at what currently exists. Now, in the theme of it being a game jam, there was 2 weeks to make it, and there is a lot of very unpolished and unfinished things about it. I would honestly say that the build that I submitted to the jam was almost unplayable. It does have multiplayer. You can host a match. One of the things that I forgot to do before submitting it was to allow players to change their name and to change the name of their lobby. So we get this fun debug text of me putting memes into character names to test. There's also just a single player version where you can play by yourself. So the objective of the game in this version is to just survive. There is a spirit in this makeshift house. Now the house is very unfinished. These stairs go to nowhere. Some of the furniture doesn't even have collision. Some of the rooms aren't even furnished yet. I know the bathroom has a floating countertop because I forgot to lower it to the ground before I started propping out the rest of the house. So there's a bunch of unfinished rooms, and that kind of sucks. But it's a 2-week jam. And my goal is to keep working on this game. And I've made a lot of progress since this build, but I figured we would first take a look at this. There's even a debug cube under the table, but this table doesn't actually have collisions, so it just falls off. Even though these objects here are on top of it, they don't actually have physics on them, so they don't do anything. Okay, in this build, the only thing that you have to help yourself survive is these cameras. Now, these cameras have a very crappy low-resolution image on them, and if you turn the camera on and set it down and then come over to this monitor, you will see the camera feed on the monitor. The monitor is also low-resolution, and it's flipped. This has been fixed and the resolution bumped up, but currently it's the only way you can see the ghost. And the ghost, if you can see on this tiny camera, is just this figure right here because I don't have... I didn't think about the fact that you could see him before the match starts, so there he is kind of breathing and existing. So the premise was that for the first 12 hours, it would be kind of a setup time for you to get things set up to try and survive. And the kind of initial planned strategy is that in the beginning you would start with setting these cameras up in each different room. Let me see here. So there's the camera over there. There's the camera over here. Got this camera and this camera. So I'm going to put this one in what would be the bathroom, looking into this master bedroom. And then I'm going to point this other one in what is the study, pointing into this living room. Now, I based this house on a floor plan I found online, and it was interesting because I was confused at first that I'm going to put it in here. There's 2 living rooms, but older houses, to my discovery, had a formal living room and an informal family room. And this is where like children would hang out and play, and you'd have the TV and things, but the formal one would get like the fancy fireplace and be a lot more like a formal sitting room. So that's, I mean, okay, cool, neat. All right. The house will be 2-story eventually. But yeah, okay, so we've set up the cameras and we can cycle through them here, and we really can't see what's going on in the cameras. But we're going to go ahead and skip to night. And that is when our ghost, who is currently still standing here, but we can't very easily see him with the naked eye. He's here, but he's very difficult to see. But if we skip to night, he will start roaming around the house, and we might catch a glimpse of him on these cameras. Maybe. Probably. Oh, there he is. Okay. And so he's just going to roam the house. And I'm going to attempt to throw that cube in there as a maybe we'll survive. But he roams the house, and as he does, he gradually builds aggression. And once he's angry enough, we just saw him running on the screen. He starts sprinting around the house. Oh, and I died. Yeah, so that's the gameplay loop right now, and it's really, really broken. And that's what was submitted to the 32-bit jam. And we won't look at this a whole lot anymore just because it was really, really freaking broken. So what we're going to do now is hop into the Unity editor where I am working on the game currently, and we're going to look at where I'm at now. I have fleshed out and planned things out quite a lot on kind of what I want this game to eventually be. And we are nowhere close to that. But the biggest point of feedback from that submission was that there was no way for anybody to understand how to play and what you're supposed to do. The only context you got was if you happened to click through the game submission to the actual dedicated itch.io page and read how to play and my long several page description of the game all right here. And this was all added after the fact, after somebody had given the feedback that there's no way to know what's going on. It's also like insanely too dark. And so the first thing that I did was fix some of the things with the cameras being super low resolution and the image on the screen being flipped. And then I got to work concepting how do I teach players how to play. And this was really early on before I had thought about what I want the final game loop to be. And you know, only in the last few days have I decided the actual game loop, because initially it was just you've got 24 hours and you're supposed to survive. That has transformed to the eventual goal is that you are in a haunted location, sometimes with co-op friends, and this location has several spirits or ghosts. And early on, they're weak, and your goal is to pacify or exorcise them or trap them, and you'll have multiple tools to do so. And once you've done that, it will kind of trigger a last stand with the demon in charge of the space, which will be a much harder survival type encounter. and there will be, you know, more tools than just these cameras. I've added another one that we'll take a look at in a second. But yeah, it's kind of, it really is, it's Phasmophobia if there was a campaign and it focused more on story and it was PS1. But I really want to lean towards that story element now. And when I was figuring out the tutorial and how to deliver tutorial stuff, I developed a system that I really, really like that we'll take a look at real quick. I made it so that when you receive tutorial messages, it is in the form of a flip phone. And we've got this little icon at the, I'm going to maximize this so we can look at it a little bit better. We've got this little icon at the bottom right of the screen, and it says press tab to open your flip phone. And right now, there's nothing here. I'm still working on the systems that kind of start at the very beginning. I want you to just immediately, when you hop into the tutorial, get a text message, and it will start walking you through, here's how to use the phone, and all of that jazz. Here's how to move, here's how to use your flashlight. And then you'll start getting text messages from a mysterious unknown number that starts talking about the space, and oh hey, there are these old tools that I left around, go find them to help stay alive. You've stumbled into this house and you don't know how bad it is. But we've got this phone, and if I look at an object that has what I'm just going to call it a tooltip for now. If I look at an object that can be tooltipped, you get a text message. The phone vibrates and it does a little dance in the bottom of your screen and it lights up. And then if you open it, it goes straight to the message that you just received. And this says, this monitor displays any active cameras, interact with it, and it will cycle the camera currently being displayed. Awesome. So we got that. And we see that the sender up at the top of the flip phone screen is just a bunch of question marks because we don't know who it is. And if I hit backspace, we go to our inbox and we can see all of the messages we've received so far from different senders. But that's kind of it. And I'm dating myself here. I don't remember what old flip phone interfaces were like and what it was like to use one. Because by the time I had a cell phone, I was a young lad in middle school with one of those sliding full keyboard phones that you text on. None of these older flip phone T9 style phones. So I don't remember what this was like. So I did a lot of research and a lot of asking around trying to figure out, and this was the best that I could come up with that I think really fits the look of an old cell phone with the, you know, with the old counter on the top of the thing and being able to browse through your inbox and whatnot. But if I remember correctly, they couldn't really store messages very well. Anyway, so that's that. And if I get another message here from looking at the clock, because it gives me a little tutorial message for that, this clock is your most important tool. You're safe now, but after 12, spirits become aggressive. Interacting with it once you're prepared skips to midnight. And I can press the arrow keys on my keyboard to skip through the messages. And if I go back to my inbox, the little preview on it, low resolution and hard to read, is basically the start of this message. And then to show off that you can get messages from multiple senders, I just made a dummy message on the camera from our boy Derek, who wants to slide into our TMs. But if I hit backspace now, we get both the messages and we can see those there, and you can select them and scroll through them and all that neat stuff. So that's cool. And that's what I've come up with for tutorials and plot dumps. So you'll get into a level, and if you see something for the first time that you've never seen before, your phone will vibrate and you can come in here and read the message explaining what it is. I'm eventually going to add some sort of like little kind of encyclopedia in a different menu of the phone that lets you just quickly read over descriptions of tools and things like that. But we're not there yet. So like I had said previously, the first thing that I changed was upping the resolution of the camera and the monitor. So it is a much higher resolution and a much wider angle. It's a little bit difficult to see on the camera itself still because we're in retro mode. Everything's pixelated as all hell. But if we come up to the monitor, we can see me on the monitor, and we can see our spooky ghost friend right behind me because he's still there. I haven't turned him off yet. I have finally added another tool after going over the framework for creating tools. I've essentially made it so that it's really easy to set up an activatable, I guess, ghost tool And this one is just a candle. So if I pick it up and I toggle it on, it's got a flame. And that's it. Pretty cool, pretty easy peasy. So if I wanted to put a camera in here pointed this way, it would be slightly easier to see because I have a candle over here. We might be able to see the ghost a little bit better. I can probably come in here and just view it on the monitor, and we can see how well that looks. Yeah, cool. Okay, I'm gonna set these cameras up in a similar way to how I did it in the previous build, where we have one in this corner so we can see this room. Oh, and I've totally tweaked the physics on these cameras because I hated the way they worked. They still, you can look down at the ground and let go and it'll spaz out. I haven't fixed that yet, but they are much less finicky when it comes to, like, it used to be that if you're looking up and you dropped it, it would rock back and forth forever. Instead, now it just kind of wobbles into place and it's okay. So we're going to point this in through the room and at the doorway so that if the ghost comes through here, even if he goes into the bathroom behind the camera, we can still see him. We've got this one pointed in here, and it'll go into the study if we see that. This one's in here, and I think the last one is in the kitchen. Let's cycle all the cameras and make sure they're all on. It looks like the one in the kitchen is not on. So we'll come turn it on and point it in. We'll put it there so we can watch the ghost come in and out. And then this is that debug cube I mentioned, and it just has a flat angy value on it that'll piss the ghost off. Because the premise is that tools will make the ghost angry if he walks into a room that has different, like, detection methods. Eventually there will be tools which purpose is to make the ghost less angry. And I'm thinking about making the candle one of those. So, like, if the ghost is in proximity to a candle, it'll blow it out, but then it'll reduce its aggression value a little bit. Because the objective is to, for the smaller ones early on, you want to reduce their aggression below 0 or capture them, and that'll pacify them and you can keep going. Okay, I'm going to start this hunt. I don't think there's anything in this room. I can't remember if the monitors have a value. I shouldn't be easily killable in here. If the ghost starts a hunt in this room, which the ghost can't start a hunt in this room, and that's kind of the criteria for getting killed right now, is if you're in a room when it starts a hunt, you're dead. If there's nobody in a room when it starts the hunt, it starts to kind of roam around angrily. But if that happens, we can kind of strategize a little bit, maybe get on top of the table or something and hide from it that way. But we've got all of the cameras throughout the house. I am going to start this. And the last little bit that I want to show off is that when the ghost hunts, he makes a very angry noise. I think I just saw him. There he is. He is in the bedroom. And there he is. It is eerie and I hate it. Yeah, so he lets out a nasty scream when he starts hunting. There will eventually be a whole lot more sound effects on different spirits and things like that, but that's what we've got for now. He's in the living room. Oh, he's hunting. I think he ran into... Yeah, he ran into the bathroom. We just saw him go past the camera. I'm trying to sound whore my way through this and hear where he's at. I don't know where he is right now. That's eerie and spooky. There he is. He's in the kitchen. Still in the kitchen. Oh! And I've got his values set really low, so he'll just kind of get mad real easy and hunt real easy. Kind of as a way to debug. But kind of right now, there's no way to die in the monitor room because there's no tools in here that can make him angry. Unless he hunts to the monitor room, and then it gets dicey. Looks like he's running. Didn't see where he went. He's in the bedroom. Okay, but yeah, you can follow the ghost around, and that's kind of it. Still one of the only tools in the game is that camera. And the candles. In the bedroom? Where's he at? Okay, I won't waste any more time with this. But yeah, that's where we're at now. We've got the tutorial. You can receive multiple messages. The ghost makes a sound when he's hunting. And we've got the candles. That's kind of the notable change. And from then on, I will be just adding more items and setting up things and setting up the tutorial a lot. Yeah, I don't know if there's a whole lot more for me to talk about. Oh, this video is for YouTube. So hi, folks who like to follow my YouTube channel. It's been a minute. I'm sorry. I've got a kid, and that's hard to manage time with, and a full-time job, and wanting to make games. But yeah, this is what I've been working on. And it's gonna be what I'm gonna be working on my free time for a long while. I want to finish and publish this game. So we'll see how that goes. I will continue working on this for the jam. My goal, my very... Oh gosh! That's me dying. My very optimistic goal for the end of this jam in the next month, because what I've previously worked on has been worked on for maybe 3 weeks now, at most. That's 3 weeks of progress. And this is all network multiplayer, so I'm pretty proud of that. But I want to, by the end of this, have this in a decent enough playable state that I can start planning a pitch deck for publishers and potentially work on this and get paid for it, because that would be nice. Yeah. Cool. Like and subscribe. I'll probably make some more progress videos. I've been thinking about streaming and working on this game, because I work on it nightly right now. Let me know if you'd be interested. I probably do it here on YouTube. I don't know if I want to do it on Twitch or not. Yeah, cool. Thanks. See you guys later. Bye. Thanks for putting up with this low quality, not very heavily edited video. Haha. Later.